Hello, my name is Andre Vincent. Welcome to my final paper presentation. My research question was, how does growing up in poverty increase the risk of experiencing depression in adulthood? My hypothesis was that growing up in poverty increases the risk of experiencing depression in adulthood, and I have research to back it up with real life examples. We'll continue and I'll show you. My findings include, from one of my references, Lee and Patel 2021, provide evidence from a national survey that shows socioeconomic status is directly associated with an increased risk of adult depression. They also included the real-life example of a woman named Rachel, a participant who grew up in an urban area with high poverty rates and limited access to health care. Although she later found stable employment, Rachel developed depression in adulthood, which was linked to her early experiences of hardships and economic instability. This is a real life example directly from the references I used in my final paper, which supports my hypothesis. I'll show you more. My findings continue from another one of my references, Green and Lewis 2021. In their research, they presented the case study of Michael, who grew up in a low-income community characterized by high crime rates and few education opportunities. Michael experienced childhood neglect and witnessed domestic violence as well, but despite this, excelled in academics. Despite all this, he still experienced severe depression as an adult, which could be attributed to his economic instability and growing up in poverty. This is another real life example directly from my references, which supports my hypothesis that growing up in poverty and the effects that come with it directly contributes to experiencing depression later in adulthood. We'll continue. In conclusion, I find my hypothesis to be true based on the research I compiled. My childhood poverty significantly increases the risk of depression in adulthood through mechanisms such as chronic stress, limited social support, exposure to adversity, and social stigma. The lack of resources, stable home environment, and mental health services during childhood can have lasting effects on mental health well-being. To piggyback off this, I believe early intervention, such as economic support, access to mental health care, and educational programs is crucial in mitigating these risks. Addressing the root causes of poverty and promoting resilience through community-based initiatives can reduce the long-term mental health impacts of childhood poverty, ultimately preventing the onset of depression in adulthood. So basically, in conclusion, I prove my hypothesis to be right through the research I compiled, which shows real-life examples and supports my hypothesis. And I believe it should, the goal of my research should be to raise awareness around this and put programs and different things in place to prevent this and help others from having to go through it. My references I use for this PowerPoint are K. Lee and R. Patel, Socioeconomic Status and Adult Depression, Evidence from National Survey from the American Journal of Public Health. P. Green and N. Lewis, From Poverty to Depression, The Pathways Linking Childhood Disadvantage to Adult Mental Health, Clinical Psychological Science. With that being said, this concludes this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.